Think about it. We use it all day, every day. From the simplest things, like ordering a coffee, to the most complex, like debating philosophy. But what is language, really? And what is it about this amazing tool that makes us so, well, human?
You've probably seen this before, right? You're at a friend's place, and their parent squawks out hello or copies something you just said. It's a pretty cool party trick for sure. But it also gets you thinking about a much bigger question. I mean, really, is that bird actually having a conversation, or is it just making noise that sounds like words? This one simple question, it cuts right to the heart of what separates us from pretty much every other living thing on this planet.
And this is where that difference becomes so clear. Animal communication, it's often about mimicking sounds or using a set number of gestures or having fixed responses to things. But human language, wow, that's on a whole other level. We're talking about complex grammar, the ability to create a literally infinite number of new sentences and discussing totally abstract ideas, like love or justice or what we're doing next week.
So how in the world do we get this incredible skill? It's a process that starts when we're just tiny, and honestly, it happens at a speed that is basically a superpower.
Just look at this number, 7. What's that? Well, that is the average number of new words a preschool-aged kid learns every single day. It's just an incredible, mind-boggling rate of learning.
You've heard the saying, right, that kids are like sponges? It's so true. And they're not just memorizing a list of words. Nope, they're absorbing the entire system, the sound patterns, what words mean, how sentences fit together, all just by listening to the world around them. And that foundation, laid so early, is absolutely crucial for everything else.
Now, this amazing ability has sparked one of the biggest debates in all of psychology. Where does language even come from? Are we just born with it, or do we have to learn it all from scratch? Let's dive into the 3 big theories.
Okay, first up you've got the innatist view. This is the one you might connect with Noam Chomsky. Basically, this is the nature argument. The idea here is that the basic blueprint for language isn't learned at all. It's innate. It's like we're born with a universal grammar already hardwired into our brains.
Then in the complete opposite corner, you've got the behaviorist view, which you'd associate with B.F. Skinner. This is the nurture side of the coin. This theory says language is nothing special. It's just another behavior we learn through things like imitation and getting positive reinforcement. A kid gets praised for saying mama, so they say it more.
And that brings us to where most people have landed today. The interactionist view. It basically says, why does it have to be one or the other? It's both. We probably are born with some kind of biological capacity for language, but that potential only gets unlocked when we interact with other people in a rich social world. It's nature and nurture working together. This really highlights a super important point. There's a huge difference between recognizing words and actually understanding. Okay, look at these sentences. The goat ran across the field. Simple, we get it, no problem. But what about the sleep jumped on the ghost? The grammar is perfect, but it's complete nonsense. It doesn't mean anything. And the last one, the gabbin finished the race before the zaboon. We actually understand the structure, we know the gabbin won, but we have no clue what a gabbin or a zaboon is. See? Real language isn't just about decoding words, it's about building meaning.
And this idea, the simple view of reading, just sums it up perfectly. It shows you that 2 things have to happen. On one side, you have word recognition, just being able to see the letters and know the word. On the other side, you have comprehension, actually understanding what it all means. Real reading, the kind that matters, only happens up here in this top corner, where you're strong in both. If you have one without the other, you're not really reading.
But here's the thing. This incredibly complex system, it's also incredibly fragile. We totally take our ability to communicate for granted, but for a lot of people, it's a constant struggle. So what happens when this amazing gift breaks?
Well, research shows us there are these windows of opportunity, these really critical periods in early childhood. And if a kid doesn't get enough language stimulation, if they're not talked to, read to, a gap starts to form between them and their peers. And as time goes on, that gap just gets wider and a whole lot harder to close.
One common challenge is dyslexia. And what's so important to understand is that this has nothing to do with intelligence. It's a very specific difficulty with written language, with connecting the letters you see on a page to the sounds they're supposed to make. And that, of course, affects reading and spelling.
But even if you learn language perfectly as a child, it's not guaranteed forever. Aphasia is a condition where language gets impaired or even lost because of brain damage from something like a stroke or a head injury.
It's a powerful reminder of how specific parts of our brain are dedicated just to language.
And what's truly fascinating is how specific that damage can be. If you have damage to one area, called Broca's area, your speech might become really halting and ungrammatical, but you can still understand others just fine. But if the damage is to Wernicke's area, you might be able to speak fluently a mile a minute, but the words are all jumbled and meaningless, and you can't understand what other people are saying. It's a stark reminder of just how specialized our brains really are.
So let's zoom out from the individual brain for a second. Because language does more than just shape our thoughts. It has a massive effect on our shared reality. The very words we have at our disposal can literally shape how we see the world.
Here's a classic example to make it concrete. Think about the word snow. For most English speakers, snow is, well, it's snow. But did you know that some languages spoken in Arctic regions have dozens of different words for it? So why?
It really just comes down to need. Whatever is important to a culture will get more words. If your survival depends on knowing the difference between snow that's good for building and snow that's about to cause an avalanche, you're going to develop specific words for them. Same goes for cultures where rice is a staple food. They'll have a much richer vocabulary for all its different varieties.
And all of this leads to a really powerful idea. Language isn't just a neutral tool we use to stick labels on things that are already out there. No, it's more like a lens. It's the very lens that focuses our attention, that carves up the world into categories we can understand, and that fundamentally shapes how we experience reality itself.
So let's circle all the way back to our talking parrot. The difference should be crystal clear now, right? The parrot is mimicking sounds. The human is creating meaning. The parrot has no grammar, no new ideas. The human mind can express an infinite number of thoughts.
There's a quote that just captures this perfectly. We think what we talk what we think. It's a feedback loop, you see. Our thoughts shape the words we use, and then the words we use turn right back around and shape our thoughts. It's this deep, endless cycle that helps define our very consciousness.
And that leaves us with one last big question to chew on. If your native language is the lens that shapes how you see the world, what happens to your mind? What happens to your reality when you learn to see it through a completely new one? What new worlds might open up then? Something to think about.